Hi, and welcome to this virtual session on dealing with anxiety. My name is Christine Dawkins. I'm a breathwork and meditation specialist, and today in this video, we're going to be exploring some of the different ways that we can help ourselves deal with the bodily sensations of stress and anxiety. And we're going to do this looking at how we can use our body, mindfulness meditations, and the breath. So to be really clear right from the start, to know what we're talking about, let's have a look at some definitions of what I mean when I say anxiety and mindfulness. So we can see anxiety is simply just a reaction to stress. It's based in fear, and we often have worrying thoughts that make us feel uneasy, and we experience uneasy sensations in the body. Mindfulness is one of those terms I feel like gets thrown around a lot and not many people know what it means, but it simply just means how we use our attention. So I think we can all agree at one point or another in our life, we all would have experienced some form of anxiety, whether it's to do with something big like an important job interview, or perhaps it's a doctor's appointment that's coming up where we're uncertain of what the possible outcomes could be. Or maybe it's something a little bit more part of our daily life. For example, perhaps once speaking to someone that we really fancied. Or it could be something as simple as just thinking about the long list of things that you have to do in your day. So, for us to understand how anxiety and stress kind of operates in our body, we first have to understand more deeply what's going on in the mind. Now, for some people, this alone can be helpful, just to know that actually your brain's job is to keep you alive, not to make you happy. And so when we understand this, we can see what's happening in our mind from a rational point of view, where the job of the brain is to keep you alive. Let's have a look. Now, we know you don't use 100% of your brain, but of that you do use, we can break this down into 5% being your conscious mind and the other 95% being your subconscious mind. Now, the conscious mind is driven by rationality, and this is where we develop our willpower, we hold our short-term memory, and we're able to critically and logically think from. So this is the place we would always hope to be thinking and acting from. However, it is the subconscious mind that is driving our life. Now, the role of the subconscious is protection, and that's great because it keeps us safe from danger. But the only problem is the subconscious mind sees not only physical threat as dangerous, but also emotional threat. And so it acts to protect us always. So it's in the subconscious that we hold our beliefs, our emotions, our habits, and our values. Now, the subconscious mind also acts as a data bank of all our past experiences. It's our long-term memory. And it tends to give particular value to the negative experiences we've had in the past, because essentially it's trying to protect us from that ever happening again. So how it does this is it engages in the imagination. And you can see this in your own life. How many times has the worst case scenario in your head ever come true? You can probably count it on one hand. And it's the same for pretty much everybody. It's also helpful to know that the brain's natural default is negativity, because in this way it will always be able to keep you safe and alive. It also looks for confirmation bias. So this means that when you have perhaps negative thoughts about your ability or about yourself or about certain situations, the brain will always be looking for the pattern to confirm that to be true, which means it's engaging in its imagination and it's then looking for confirmation of that imagination to be true, which means it may not necessarily be real. Now, that's not to say that anxiety is an imagined event. It's a very real experience for people who suffer from this. But it's just good to know that the basis of a lot of these anxious thoughts, which then lead to feelings, come from a place of imagination. And we have to keep in mind that the subconscious is always in communication with the unconscious mind. And the unconscious mind is the chemical messages that get sent, for example, for your heart to beat faster, for your breathing to become more shallow. It's those bodily processes that the subconscious sends the alerts to so that they can prepare themselves in alert for the threat. But what often happens is the subconscious is triggered by the uneasy feelings, and it's remembering a past time that it was once in danger emotionally or physically, and it's trying to stop that from ever happening again. So the imagination goes out of control, it continues to send those messages, and we continue to feel rubbish, which in turn may continue to give us more negative thoughts. So now we have a better understanding of what's actually happening in your mind when you're going through these moments of stress and anxiety. And we see that actually the body-mind connection is very strong. So we're now going to start looking at some helpful techniques that you can use to help calm yourself down in the moment when you're having this experience. I just want to say though, as we move through these techniques, they are going to grow in impact. Not every technique we try today is going to be for everyone. And in fact, you'll all probably have different preferences. If you are someone who suffers from anxiety quite a lot, or you have chronic anxiety, then you may find that the earlier techniques are perfect for you. Just as others may not find that as strong as they need, and they'll enjoy the later techniques even more so. But I encourage you, as I did at the start, to go in with an open mind and give it your best go. So first we have to get into the zone. So this is what I like to call workplace dance party time. Okay, no, I'm not going to make you dance with your colleagues. So sorry if you got up and started to like bust a groove, but what I probably did manage to do quite effectively for a number of you is to start building those uncomfortable feelings in your body, similar to how we experience when we're in moments of stress and anxiety. So from this point, we're now going to start moving through the techniques. And the first one we're going to be looking at is a mindfulness practice, remembering that mindfulness is how we use our attention. And we're going to use our attention to pull ourselves from the subconscious mind back into that rational thinking part of our mind. Let's have a look. So in this technique, we're going to give our attention to our senses, and this brings our focus back into the present moment and inside the room instead of whatever's going on in our mind or our body. Let's practice. So what are 5 things that you can see? Looking around the room. 4 things that you can touch or feel the sensation of. Maybe it's your clothes on your skin, your feet on the floor. What are 3 things that you can hear? 2 things that you can smell. And lastly, 1 thing that you can taste. Perhaps this is your breakfast or lunch still. Okay, so let's just check in with how we feel after this practice. So just a few moments ago, we were possibly quite panicked at the idea that maybe I was going to get you up dancing with your colleagues as part of this session. And now here we are just a few moments later, having taken our mind from that subconscious aspect of imagination and worry and brought it back into the present moment by engaging our senses. Now, for you to use this in your everyday life, perhaps trying to think of the order of 5 things and, the order that they go in, etc., may be quite stressful. So one way that you can definitely build this into your life is to just practice engaging 3 senses and look for 3 things in each of those senses. So for example, going into a job interview, you might be quite nervous or anxious. And so sitting down in the job interview and just taking a moment to ground yourself. Okay, what's 3 things I can see? What's 3 things I can feel the touch of? What's 3 things I can hear, perhaps? And this is one way that you can embed that practice quite easily. Now, for some people, they can't just think their way out of anxiety. And that's essentially what mindfulness is asking you to do. It's to just think your way out of that physical experience. And so for some people, this is where they'll turn to stronger things to affect what they're feeling in their body. So this is where we start to look at breathing techniques as they physically change the sensations in your body through the breath. Now, those unpleasant sensations are often caused by the physical reactions of things like your heart rate increasing. This then causes your blood pressure to rise, and then that's when you start to experience the things like perhaps throbbing in your ears or your head. You may notice your fingers starting to pulsate. You may even feel like your heart is pounding out of your chest, and that can cause a little bit of difficulty breathing. When we breathe into our chest, we're breathing in a shallow manner, and that can cause us to be more emotional in our reactions. Or you may notice that you even start to take panicked breaths that are not as smooth. Also, on top of this, we know that the chemicals and the hormones released during times of stress and anxiety are unhelpful to you feeling good and calm. So this is why people turn to breathing techniques to try and assist how they feel in their body. One example of this in using the breath is that when you inhale, you act as an accelerator of your heart, but when you exhale, you slow it down. So often when people are stressed, we say, take a deep breath, but really we should be saying, take a long exhale. So the first technique that we're going to look at with breathing is box breathing. This is the most recommended technique by the NHS for people who suffer with anxiety. And essentially what it does is it asks you to control your breath in a way that slows the breath right down. And when we slow our breath down, we slow down our heart rate. And when we slow down our heart rate, everything starts to feel differently in our body. This technique then asks us to breathe in for the count of 4. You then hold at the top with full lungs for the count of 4. You breathe out then for the count of 4. And then ideally you hold at the bottom with no air in your lungs for ideally the count of 4. And you repeat this pattern over and over again. So how we're going to be breathing for this particular technique is always in and out through the nose. If that's not so easy or comfortable, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth is just as good. I want you to take away from this that nasal breathing is the better way for you to be breathing. At the back of our throat, we have stress response activators. So if we're continuously breathing in and out through our mouth, then we're triggering them unnecessarily, and this could lead to us being in a more stressed state continuously than we would like. So breathing in and out through the nose, or in through the nose and out through the mouth, we're going to do this task. Now also, if you've not held on empty lungs before, this may initially feel uncomfortable because it's going to feel a little bit like you can't breathe. Don't worry, this is normal, and I'm going to guide us into this, initially just pausing and then building up to the full so that we feel safe with it. Let's get ready to practice as we go. Eyes closed, exhale. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. And returning to normal breathing. So taking a moment now just to check in with how box breathing felt for you. Now, was it something that you enjoyed? Maybe not so much. Was it easy with the pauses, or did you have no problem with the longer hold at the bottom? This is about getting to know how you work with the breath so that you can use the breath to help you when you need it. Now, the next technique that we're going to look at is called alternate nostril breathing. And this, once again, is a move up in the feeling that you're going to have in your body when you actually do this breathing technique. I think this is the best bang for your buck when it comes for in the moment, trying to help yourself calm down. And it's a form of pranayama. So this is a form of breathing that was taken from the ancient Indian yogis, and it's been practiced for thousands of years. Now, this technique is fantastic because it balances both sides of your brain, so both hemispheres. And this can be really useful to do at the start of your day, not only to kind of act as a proactive measure against stress, because what it does is it switches on the parasympathetic part of your nervous system, which is your rest and digest state, which means as you go through your day, you're going to be less quick to respond to stressful triggers. But it also means that it's activating both hemispheres of the brain, which can be great if you work in a job where you need to be creative as well as logical and rational. So I'd really advise doing this, 2 minutes a day, just when you wake up, before you get out of bed, do this for 2 minutes. And then just, if you're doing it consistently, watch how your life improves. Watch how you just become a little bit more emotionally removed from things, not in a negative way, but in a way where you're able to respond rather than react in stressful moments. I'll stop banging on about how good this technique is and let's try it for ourselves. So essentially what we're doing is we're going to use these 2 fingers, and we're going to use these to close and open the nostrils, and that's going to help us breathe out of one side or breathe out of the other. I'm going to do a little demo in a moment. So as you can see, we close one side of the nose and we exhale out that open nostril. We then breathe in the open nostril. We then close that side off and breathe out the other. And we do this moving backwards and forwards continuously. And ideally, as you get used to this, really start to slow down and draw out those inhales and exhales. Essentially, you're going to be creating this pattern backwards and forwards with your breath. So to give you a little demo, we take our right thumb to our right nostril and you exhale fully out the left nostril. Always inhaling the same side as we exhale, so we breathe in. Then we close that left nostril off, we open up the right and we exhale out that opposite right nostril. And we simply go backwards and forwards with this. So you inhale same side, close, open the other nostril and exhale out that opposite nostril. Inhale same side. Close, open, exhale out the opposite. So we get the idea. When you feel comfortable, you can watch me for the start to guide ourselves into this practice when we begin. But when you do feel comfortable, do close down your eyes because I feel like it adds to the experience of deep relaxation, which you're about to experience. So let's get ready to do this. So taking that right thumb to the right nostril, exhaling fully out the left nostril. Inhale, same side. Close, open, exhale out the right nostril. Inhale, same side. Close, open the left, exhale out that left nostril. Inhale, same side. Close, open, exhale out the opposite. Perhaps closing your eyes down now if you feel comfortable. Inhale, same side. Close, open, exhale out the opposite. Inhale, same side. Close, open, exhale out the opposite. And if you feel comfortable, really start to extend those inhales and exhales. Closing, opening, exhaling out the opposite. Inhale, same side. Close, open, exhale out the opposite. Inhale, same side. Close, open, exhale out the opposite. And feeling your shoulders and body starting to sink as you exhale. Inhale, same side. Close, open, exhale out the opposite. Continue with that sinking feeling of the body on your exhale. Inhale, same side. Close, open, exhale out the opposite. Last round. Inhale, same side. Close, open, exhale out the opposite. Now taking one final deep inhale through the nose. Releasing your hands and just holding this breath at the top for a few moments. For another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling. And when you feel ready, you can open your eyes. And just take this moment to check in with yourself. How does that feel? And maybe how does that feel in comparison to some of the other techniques that we've already done? So we see we're starting to already develop an understanding of how the breath works with us personally, and we're starting to gain, hopefully, an idea of how we can help ourselves using these tools. So this final technique that we're going to do today is something that's called Soma Breath. Now, this is the strongest technique that we're going to do, and similar to how we used counting to help us know how long to breathe for in the box breathing session we did, we're going to do the same with Soma Breath, where you'll hear in the music the counting for you to know when to inhale and when to exhale and how long for. Soma Breath is one of the fastest growing types of breath work being used in the Western world today. It was created by an ex-pharmacist in the UK who developed it for the purpose of health, wellness, and deep relaxation. So it's great for anxiety. Now, in what we do today, we're going to create heart coherence, which means we're going to synchronize our biorhythms. So our lungs, our heart, our digestive system, and our hormonal systems will all be working in synchronization. And this will feel really, really nice. We do this by breathing in and out for equal parts. So we're going to breathe in through our nose for the count of 4 and out through our mouth for the count of 4. Don't worry, you'll hear the guidance in the music. And we do the whole session with our eyes closed. At the end of the session, you will notice that there's around about 2 minutes music. Just keep your eyes closed and listen to that music. Many people find that after the breathing, the music is incredibly enjoyable to listen to. And I want you all to have privacy to enjoy it yourself. So let's keep our eyes closed for that too. Now, this particular style of breath work can be done sitting up or lying down, but for today we're going to do it sitting up. So making yourself with a nice straight back. When you breathe in through the nose, you take that air down to the belly and your belly will expand like a balloon blowing up. Then as you exhale and that air leaves coming out through your mouth, your belly will fall back into its normal position. So placing one hand on our chest, one hand on our belly, and we get ready to practice this technique. So breathing in through the nose, it should be that belly hand moving, exhaling, and that belly hand sinks back in. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Now we notice the hand that moves is the belly hand, breathing in again. Exhaling. So just taking a moment to get yourself nice and comfortable. You want your shoulders stacked on your spine and your back nice and straight. Closing those eyes down. As we get ready to begin.
In 2, 3, 4. Out 2, 3, 4.
In through the nose.
3, 4.
And out through the mouth.
3, 4. In 2, 3, 4. Out 2, 3, 4.
In down to the belly.
3, 4.
Out the belly falls.
3, 4. In 2,
Just finding your rhythm here.
out 2, 3, 4. In 2, 3, 4. Out 2, 3, 4.
Noticing any subtle changes in how you feel.
Out 2, 3, 4. In 2, 3, 4. Out 2, 3, 4. In
And thinking about the last couple of weeks.
out 2, 3, 4.
Were they good or not ideal?
Out 2, 3, 4. In 2, 3, 4. Out 2, 3, 4.
And in some moments that could have gone better.
Out
Are you still holding some tension around this?
2, 3, 4. Out 2, 3, 4.
On each exhale, I want you to blow out any stress or tension that you're still holding.
3, 4. Out
Just let it go.
2, 3, 4. Out 2, 3, 4.
become lighter in your body, in the place where you were previously holding that tension. Just relax into it. And now thinking of a time when you were really, really happy and you felt successful. I want you to see it in your mind's eye, like it's happening right now. In this moment, what were you doing? And how did it feel? Experience it like it's happening right now. Breathe it in. Everything is possible. Into the first breath hold, I want you to breathe in through your nose, and we're going to hold that breath at the very top of the inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling fully and holding at the bottom with no air in your lungs for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling fully through the nose, holding at the top and pulling on your pelvic floor muscles, shooting this energy up between your eyes for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just returning to normal breathing, keeping our eyes closed. Just enjoy. Forward with more positivity. Just notice as it happens. And gently opening your eyes when you feel ready. So this does bring us to the end of our session today. I hope you found practicing some of these techniques useful. And if you've really enjoyed any of these, I encourage you to look further into the particular type of either mindfulness meditations or breathing exercises that you find are best for you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Take care.